Hey, it's Charlie Price, and this is another edition of Style Junkie, exclusively for AmericanSalon.com, where I do little rants and raves and talk about fashion and other little crazy things that preoccupy my little pea brain. So today the subject is going to start off with trends. You know, we have textbooks in our industry too, and they're called fashion magazines. So it's important every month to disseminate that information and distill it and try to think of ways that we can tweak our clients' hair ever so slightly all the time. So some of the things that are going on in fashion right now that I think are interesting and worth talking about are plus size models. Why is this important? Does it really change hair fashion that much? No, but it speaks to a bigger trend, which is individuality, and you know, the idea that not everybody looks the same, basically, and that we need to take that into consideration when we do people's hair. Like, ask different questions in our consultation. Look at people differently when they walk through the door. Instead of looking at, like, how do I make someone look thinner? How do I embrace the fact that this is a great plus-size model? Stuff like that. That's what I'm kind of talking about with the individuality. And, you know, there's so much more with the trans and the old is the new young. I mean, really, we're not trying to make everybody look like a supermodel anymore, I guess is my point. That individuality rules the day. There's this whole preoccupation next with flyaway hair, frizz, texture, all of that. And I think that what we need to think about now is that look that is in the magazines, even the Chanel ad. There's just tons of fried, frizzy looking hair right now that I just looked at in the current issue of Vogue. And really, that doesn't work for clients. I mean, most clients don't really want to look like that. It's about a photo, and it's about Chanel trying to youth up their brand or what have you, and make it look more editorial. So how does that translate to the salon? Because also at the runways of Calvin Klein, you had a lot of natural curl texture. I think what it signals is a return to styling somewhat and natural texture. So we're going a bit away from the completely disheveled back into a more styled look. And it's also, again, like I talked about in the last installment of Style Junkie, about post-retro. So I think that this is another case of like early 90s hair, you know, the perm look and the, like, think of like Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, or Renee Zellweger, or Nicole Kidman when they first came out in the 90s. They had this, you know, like manes of curly hair, and that look is kind of back, but how do we modernize it? It's not all the way crunchy and styled like it was then, or dried with crunchy mousse in it, and it's not all the way as disheveled and frizzy and whatever is going on in the magazines. It's somewhere in the middle, so we have to kind of calibrate our thoughts there. Also, 1970s fashion is really one of the things that stick for fall, and, you know, you see it in, like, even Nina Garcia. You know, Project Runway is so mainstream, so people like Nina Garcia in the finale wearing like a very, you know, Yves Saint Laurent 1970s looking tuxedo, and Kelly, one of the finalists, contestants, she was doing Studio 54 meets New Wave. So I think there is definitely a return to the late 70s, early 80s disco, and definitely glitz is coming back, I've noticed. I'm even interested in that, and I'm doing a show this weekend, and I'm using sequin gowns in Las Vegas as my theme, trying to do that in kind of a modern way. It could be like glitter rock, could be a little bit like the old tacky stores like Cachet or the Icing or something like that, but not necessarily. So just like looking at glitz as not a joke anymore. It's kind of coming back. I'm going to continue every time talking about branding because this is such a big piece of our industry right now. So when you're thinking about branding, whether it's social media or advertising or whatever your efforts are, think about what are you doing as a hairstylist that sets you apart? What are your signatures? Your signature style, your overall vibe. Are you funky? Are you conservative? Are you businessy? Are you, you know, rebellious? Ask yourself these questions. How do you describe yourself, your signatures? And then what are your specialties service-wise? Are you a balayage specialist? Are you a wild color specialist? Are you a Brazilian blowout specialist? Are you a, whatever, what is your thing? Are you a precision haircutter? You're great at blow drying and updos. What's your thing? Think about it, some of your specialty things. And it doesn't have to be that you only do those things, but what are the things that you really shine at? What are your goals? Do you want to, what is this branding doing for your aspirations as a hairdresser? Do you want to be a platform artist? Do you want to be the stylist that makes the most money in your city? Do you want to have a national chain of salons? What is your agenda as a hairdresser, and does your branding fit with that strategy? Who is your ideal client or your muse or your models? Like who are you trying to attract with that branding? I think that is a huge question that a lot of hairdressers don't ask themselves, because right now there's just a proliferation of ego in our industry. I mean, social media makes us all egomaniacs. And if you're a platform artist like I am, there is an essential piece of your persona that must include a giant ego, or else you wouldn't do this. But you can't let your ego run amok and get so outrageous that it's just silly and stupid. Like right now there's all these people calling themselves hair god, and it's like so nauseating to me that somebody would refer to themselves as a hair god. It's almost like they're on some kind of drugs or something. It's ridiculous. So I think that we need to temper that and step back. I mean, and maybe this has always been hairdressers, like with this cockiness and this arrogance, there's always some of us that are like that. But I think right now, with the state of the world, and social media in particular, everybody's even more obsessed with themselves than they have been in the past. And I think it's not good, I would say. I'm going to leave you with one final thought, and it's about the silliest thing. You're going to make me you're going to think of me as like your beauty school instructor, because we need to keep our station clean. Like I've been doing hair for almost 29 years, and it's still such a thing that I have to work on every day. Have I made sure that the hair is blown out of the station? When I open the drawers, is my client going to see a bunch of hair all over the brushes? When I've got my tray next to her, I've undone her hair from the shampoo bowl with the towel, do I fold the towel, or do I just throw it in a lump right there on the tray? I need to keep things looking pretty. Because, if we charge $150 for a haircut and up, I'm not Ted Gibson charging $900 or whatever it is, but $150 is still enough money that you want to respect the space around the client. Make sure your brushes are clean. Make sure you... Also, if we're like a serious artist, I don't want my like Hello Kitty blow dryer and my kit and caboodle, things in my station that have like stickers on them, or punk rock stickers or whatever. You need to have serious tools. Make sure all your clips match. Make sure you're using nice combs. Make sure your combs aren't covered with, product and all of that. It's little details. I think that's the thing that makes a career hairdresser versus just somebody who comes in and has a job when they're hungover. If we want to be a serious artiste, we have to act like one, whether it's our branding, whether it's keeping our station clean, whether it's worrying about what trends are in and what Nina Garcia is wearing on Project Runway. I think these are the things that are going to separate us from, Betty's Bubble Bouffant Salon on the corner, Phyllis on Friday and Saturday morning, whatever. I mean, we got to try. So anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm exhausted, girl. So that's my style junkie for this period. I'm sure I'll regret everything I've said. Just kidding. Talk to you next time for American Salon. It's Charlie Price, Style Junkie.